man, let me get into this open thing. It's something I wasn't going to talk about, but dude, I got to talk about it. Like, it's not even just the opens. I think honestly, this kind of goes to the Toyota series, the opens.
I
God, it's
gotta.
I'm telling you, it's
I
it's
know. I
it's
know.
it's it's a
All right, I'm ready.
it's a safety thing.
Yeah.
It's a safety thing. They need to increase the length of boat, the smallest boat recommended to 18 feet from 16 feet.
Oh, we're going there.
We're going there
Yes.
because, and I'm going to tell you because these rules, the 16-foot minimum, was written what 20 years ago, and I get it. That that was the what size boats you had. That the minimum boat was a 16-footer, and you couldn't have bigger than a certain size boat, and you can't have bigger than a 250 engine. There, you start talking about wind. You talk about getting on these canceled days and stuff like that. When you have a 16-foot boat, you're putting your co-angler and yourself in a very bad situation in a 16-foot boat. Extremely bad, especially on a big lake. Like say Sam Rayburn, you're going out there in a 16-foot boat that you're using to get up in a creek in or whatever. And let's say, for instance, the wind gets up and you're trying to cross an aluminum boat, a 16-foot aluminum boat, trying to cross the big lake. You are putting your co-angler in one of the worst situations they could ever be in. Ever. Now, I'm not even saying that you have to have only a fiberglass boat. All I'm saying is that boat length, the minimum needs to be increased as a safety aspect. It is not safe to be in a 16-foot boat with a 90 horsepower motor on it.
Should there be a horsepower deal too?
Yes, 100%. The horsepower needs
150.
150. I think that's a very good small, a good starting point is that time. A 150 18-foot boat. That is a boat that you can go to Bass Pro and buy. You can go to any dealer and buy. There's 18-foot aluminum boats with 150s on them. And you could even say 115 on it. I mean, like, I would say up to like 115. But the fact of the matter is from a safety aspect, the boat length needs to be increased on the minimum side because the worst situation, you always want to calculate what is going to be a bad situation, like worst case scenario situation. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, on Texoma, you said it was a beautiful morning at Texoma that day. Beautiful. It's calm, or maybe not super calm, but like
No,
a
it was
nice
calm.
glass day.
Flip.
You run out there and you're like, man, like they're predicting 10 to 20, and I'm in a 16-foot aluminum boat, and I'm going to take this co-angler in the back of this creek, and we're going to smash on them. And you get back there and you smash on them. And then you have to run back across the lake, and it's 20-mile-an-hour winds. What are you going to do?
Not Mike, the guy that was staying with us.
Yeah.
He drew a younger kid, and on one of those days they said it was going to be blowing pretty bad, but it was going to get worse. I think that was on Friday. And so we were predicted to go out on Friday at the time after they canceled Thursday. We're all ready for Friday. And he goes, yeah, it's going to be like 10 to 15, getting up to 20 to 30, right? And he goes, he was not in a bigger boat. He was in a smaller boat, younger guy. And he was like, hey, we're going to go over there to the other side of the lake where it's rough, but don't worry, we're going to get back before it gets rough. Before like the big, and that guy, I mean, all of it, he was sitting here going, you know what that's like. You always leave too late.
Oh yeah, every time.
They were going to be caught up in it, and it was going to be bad. It's the same thing what you're saying. Like you push that envelope on that stuff. I look at it for different reasons. Yes, I get the safety, all that stuff. This is not your normal local tournament. And that's not me saying that.
Well, and that's also, I'm not even saying it for your club tournaments or your team tournaments, or like if you want to fish out of a 16, like go.
No. This is right.
Yeah.
I don't care. This is them saying, the organization saying, you have to fish this event to qualify for this circuit. There's a big difference, right? Like, so if you were fishing your local club event, right, and they said you have to fish out of your boat like this all year long to fish the championship, and you have to stay in that boat, that's them telling you that.
Yeah.
Right. That's if they didn't say that, no big deal. but the opens are there. 99% of the guys, it used to not be like this.
Yeah.
I would say 99% of the guys now, maybe 90, fish the opens either to one, make the classic, or two, qualify for the elites.
Correct.
That is not how it used to be. Guys were
No.
just fish. Like I fished the opens back in the day. I qualified. I had zero idea how I was going to, and I didn't make it, right? I didn't go
Yeah.
fishing because I was trying to figure out, oh, I'll just cross that bridge when I came there, and I didn't cross the bridge. What I'm saying is that what we hated, or what I don't like, is it's like the Alabama rig. Oh my gosh, don't get me started. The Toyotas are there to qualify. They take the top 5 from the Toyotas in the Angler of the Year to you're allowed to fish the pro circuit. Not allowed to throw the Alabama rig in the pro circuit.
No.
It blows my mind that you're allowed to catch every one of your fish on an Alabama rig all year long. You're allowed to qualify for something. And once you get there, oh yeah, by the way, everything you did to qualify here is illegal to do here.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to do it here. The same thing with the opens. You're not allowed to practice a bunch of days in the elites. It's all set up for a reason. They do these rules not to penalize you. They do them to make fishing is not fair in the sense of we're doing anything with Mother Nature and all kinds of things, right?
Correct.
So we are trying to put in rules, just like golf and anything, the rules to make it as fair as possible. And one of those is, hey, look, you're allowed to use that small boat on the elites, but when we go to Champlain,
you got to still use it.
You got to use it. If you want to get in all those little backwaters, get ready. And we're not going to make excuses for you when there's 5-footers out there. If you want to do it, do it. The opens, you got some guy driving around his big old bass boat at this event and then going, oh, we're going over there. No one can get into that place. I'm going to get my little, jet boat out and drive up in there and do great in this tournament. In my opinion, what we're trying to do, I always just looked at fishing as, man, we're just trying to take the best fishermen, let the cream rise to the top, and let those guys, not the guy that can like finagle his way through like gray area and get there. I just, and this goes with a lot of things. This goes with a lot of, man, that opens up a whole nother Pandora's box, but that's what I look at it as. That's my view. A lot of guys don't view it like that. The other guys are viewing it as, hey, if that guy can do it, do it. I don't know.
I just, we've seen it this trend, and it's been for a few years now. I mean, you look at like Ott Defoe winning some tournaments, and some guys running burner boats, and they've made some adjustments to rules in this regard. You can't actually. They don't allow an actual jet anymore. You have to actually have a prop boat and things like that, and you can't have there's like a certain type of hole you can't have. There's all these little bitty things. It has to be a manufactured boat that everybody can buy, blah, blah, blah. Whatever.
This wasn't a money thing.
No.
This was a fairness. They were trying to level the playing field to make it about fishing, not about this other deal, right? I mean, there's stuff about chainsawing. There's all these things that like, they just tried to make it.
See, I think you fixed the whole rule, no questions asked, by just saying 18-foot boat. Because a 16-footer, you can get anywhere you want to. You can.
Yeah.
If it's set up the right way, you can get anywhere you want to.
Even 18-footers, like Jason Christie and his Express can get in places I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's
I don't have, and I don't have a problem with it because. That's fine, but like I said, it's not but he can't get in certain places a 16-foot.
No,
you can't go through a tunnel like there's just some things that they can't do in that boat, and so
and look at some of the tournaments John Cox has won and things like that, and honestly, John is not in a tiny aluminum boat. He's just an aluminum boat. Yeah, it's a big boat. And I think that's acceptable, but I do believe that the minimum size aluminum boat or fiberglass boat needs to be up to 18 foot. I think it really solves a lot of problems, and from a safety aspect, if you really want to dive into it, there's a significant difference between a 16-foot boat and an 18-foot boat. There's
Mhm.
is. And so, we push the safety aspect of things a lot. We cancel all these days. Hallman and I had a big discussion about this the other day. We cancel all these days, and it's for a handful of 16-foot boats, 17-foot boats that are in the tournament. And it is because it's like that guy's not going to make it today. Yes, he can fish right here. Maybe if the wind doesn't turn into this direction, which it was predicted to. He can fish right here until he can't. And
I don't buy like, so when everyone comes up and asks me, "Hey Todd, like what kind of boat would you buy?" Dude, I never tell them to buy a boat like mine
yeah,
ever. And
no,
I'm like, "Look, man, are you fishing Rayburn? Are you driving around to these lakes? Like if even when I mention Rayburn, it's not Rayburn. Rayburn's I'm looking outside. Rayburn's probably okay today, but I'm not in a tournament. If I wanted to go load where I'm out of the wind, it could be blowing 30 out of the
yeah,
southwest on Rayburn, and I can fish one side of the lake and it never getting whitecaps. But I'm not in a tournament. So I'm like, hey, if you're not fishing tournaments, if you're not having to get out there in this stuff, right? You don't need a 21-foot boat with a 250 on it. You can get one. I'm
yeah,
just saying, you don't need one.
no,
We went and these boats we're getting now is not because some of us are, some of the guys are. Look at me. I get them because when you put me out there in 4 and 5 footers on a place like Rayburn or Cherokee or Texoma or Gunners, but you name it, my boat can handle that stuff because we are accustomed to going out and I don't need every day canceled of an event.
no,
I understood when I got into this game that I'm going to have to go out there in bad weather and and they started making boats to handle that. And that's why we got them. So we don't have to cancel days. I agree with you. This smaller boat now is like you said, we all could go get those. It'd all be nice on our pocketbook, all these different things. But then again, now we're up there canceling every day because none of us could go out there.
yeah,
That's not what we wanted. And so those guys, like, let's just plain and simple. Holman's like, those guys aren't getting penalized.
yeah.
We're getting penalized for going out there and all of us, doing what we can to fish that day. And those guys are like, I got a free pass today.
Yeah. I mean,
And
and then bottom line, that's just where it's at. And I mean, it's a two-pronged deal. I mean, basically, and does the 18 foot completely solve it? It makes it better. It does
makes it
make it
better.
better. And honestly, at this point, that's all we can ask for. And it
There's been a
makes it
lot, dude. There's been a lot of days canceled this year,
a lot, way more than usual.
and not from flooding.
Which is weird
None,
because was it last year that was the flooding?
yeah, but man, it's been crazy.
Yeah,
So I'm with you on this.
yeah.
A
I
lot of people
definitely
are
think
going to
it
look
is.
at this and miss this point and go, it's the money thing. We're not, like I said, it's not the money thing. Our days are getting canceled. Like
Yeah.
it's costing us money.
Absolutely.
That's this.
It's costing us money, and I mean, honestly, and I'm sitting here. I've got a handful. I have a river tournament coming up, the Red River this fall, and you don't think I've already been sitting here thinking, well, maybe I should get me a little 16-foot flat bottom and make it just enough bass specs that I can get in, burn into anything and everything I want to.
Oh, I can go bar them all day long if I want to.
That's what I'm saying. But like, it's just like, just where do you draw the line? And
Wait,
I think from a
I,
safety and everything aspect, like it's pretty simple to me. But
like I said, I mean, I've always said like there's going to be so many guys that sit there and go, God, I mean, we're gonna get crucified on this, man. There are gonna be so many guys that go, well, man, they did what they needed to do. Like
but it's just, I mean, when you look at, because you don't see very many 16-foot fiberglass out there
mm-mm.
in our tournaments, very very rarely. If you see a 16-foot boat, it's an aluminum boat, and it's built to go in the back of something that absolutely no one else in the field can get to. 9 times out of 10. But those same 16-foot boats are the reason, not the exact reason, but they are part of the reason as to why these days get canceled. Like that, it is because
and
they
like
look at these and they're like, "There's no way."
and like I said, you're doing it. Those guys can't run those boats in the elites.
No, unless they run it
because
the entire year.
right. And so they're not saying you can't run them. They just put it as that, you got to make that commitment.
Yep.
And that's my whole deal with this is not for every other tournament.
No.
Did I look at Opens and Toyotas, anything where you qualify for the next level? And this isn't anybody's fault who runs these boats. That's not there.
No.
I'm not complaining about them. I'm complaining about the guy. Like, they shouldn't allow this, because if you're going to let people qualify this way, make them qualify throughout the entire
Yeah.
time this way. But that's not happening. And that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Like, look, we're all trying to get to this end goal, but yet there's a whole bit different set of rules here than there are here. And if you make them the same, we're cool with that, but you're not making them the same. And that's where we have the issue. It's not saying, I don't care, man. You go get your boat and freaking let it go through an inch of water and fish all these other tournaments that we all fish as well.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that. Like, zero problem. Like, I'm all for it. Go for it. I don't care. But it's different. Do the Opens and these things are different.
Yeah.
It's why they're $1,800. It's why they only let so many people. There's a ton of different rules for these tournaments than others. So if you're gonna treat them like almost professional events, then have all the rules set up that way as well.
I agree with that
All I'm saying.
completely. And that actually made me think of something else.